Okay, I would like to introduce you Boris Grabrijan, who is the director of the Kolpa Park, and I would like to ask you that please tell something about Kolpa Park and about your work and about your feelings in connection with Bela Krajina and everything. Okay,
let's start then with the park. Or myself, as you told. My name is Boris Grabrijan, and I'm manager of the landscape park, of natural park of Kolpa. I'm also the farmer, I'm the sheep breeder, I'm the cattle breeder, the donkey breeder, the pig breeder. We have the hens and the rabbits. Yeah, well, we have everything on the farm. Yeah. I breed very different varieties of the cattle, 2 varieties of the donkeys and 6 varieties of the sheep. Mean of it, it's also, one is the production, but mostly it's the gene bank. I try to protect our domestic breeds, which are in danger to be lost for the futures. So I would like to keep them also in viva, and not only in the frozen material in the veterinarian area, but also the living population in domestic area. Okay, that's about that. And about park, perhaps the natural park Kolpa. It's a small protected area, I would say 4,400 hectares. 97% of the area it's owned by the private persons. Other is owned by the state, those small 3% by the state and the community of municipality of Chernobyl. It's small but very unique, very important protected area. More than half of the area it's part of the Natura 2000. It's a lot of natural values here, 89 at the moment. It's the number which is each change each year actually. We lost some of them, but we are adding all the time also the new ones, which we found as very important. Some of those natural values are so important, they were protected also as natural monuments. It's 16 of them. And one of it's so important that one natural value it's protected as a special national reserve, only one in Slovenia. So the protection to it goes very deeply, very seriously, I would say. What is important in the park Kolpa? Of course, as the name said, it's Kolpa or Kupa as we name it also. It's the river, very nice. During the summer, very warm. You should have opportunity to try it. In Adlešići, we measured the temperature in the August this year 29 degrees Celsius. It's calm, so it means it's very convenient to use for the swimming, for using the canoe, kayak or whatever, the boat on it. But for us it's very important, which is because of biodiversity in the river. It's the richest Slovenian river, where when we are saying Slovenia, it must be careful because the river is a border between Croatia and Slovenia. It means on the middle of the river it's the border, but with the Croatian friends we try to keep it in the good condition together. 28 different fishes live in river Kolpa, and some of them are unique in Slovenia, which we find here. Why it's so rich? It's clean, of course, the river, but the river is also very diverse. On 270 kilometers from the spring in the mountains in Croatia and when the river added to the river Sava in Sisak in Croatia, change itself very much, coming from the mountains and then to the Pannonic Valley. Of course, it's changed, and the biodiversity on it's very different. What is also very important in this area are also the culture. 42 different cultural monuments we have here. We are managing one of it. This is the farm in Žunići, Šokčev Dvor called. It is old farm, how the farms supposed to be constructed in the old times in this area, but nowadays this architecture is disappearing very quickly. In this information point we try to visitors to show, of course, some tradition of the area, and of course the importance of the natural park which we are managing right now. What is a lot of different natural values, like caves, more than 30 in this area, more than 300 in whole Bela Krajina. Another thing which is very important is of course also the very unique we find pastures, meadows, which are mostly at the moment not used anymore because of changing of technology of animal breeding. It's the silver birch and fern pastures mostly, which we like also to keep them with our work. And of course very, very different.
And I know that it is a symbol of Bela Krajina.
Yes, that's the symbol of Bela Krajina. And the small plant which comes from the earth in the spring, it's also the part of our logo. 5 of them, as you see. Mm-hmm. The culture, it's very rich. One is architecture, which I mentioned as 42 different cultural monuments, but it's also important because of the knowledge of the people, the tales, the stories, the poets, the poems, the music, the dance are very important and very unique in our area. It's much different as in other parts of Slovenia. Also the knowledge of the people, which consists of doing a lot of different things, like special painting of the eggs, which is not unique in the Europe. You can find it also in other parts of the Europe, but not in Slovenia. You can find that, as I know, in Slovakia, in Romania, in Ukraine, but not in other parts of Slovenia, this technique. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Perhaps, I don't know, in Hungary, if you know. So, what is our idea with that? Those people have a lot of knowledge, which we are afraid would be forgotten. So we try on the first step just to keep more people being familiar with the old proceedings of doing different things. And another is also we will try to help our masters to do some money with that, with their knowledge. They know that, and we find it as very important. And we think it's still possible to find the market for those products which they know. So we are helping them to train other people and also to get special certificates which will help them to easier to sell the products or to sell them for the better prices. So they are very different. Also, one of the projects we did, it's production and processing the linen and the flax. It's something what was very popular in the area. very famous for Bela Krajina, but now already almost forgotten, and we try to train the people again to do all the procedures from the seed to make the clothes from the linen flax.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's more or less basically whole idea of what we do, but there are a lot of very important details how we do and so on.
And can you show me the map and how to access this Kolpa Park?
Yeah.
About the location?
Yeah, well, I hope you are able to find the shape of the map of Slovenia on the Europe map. It means we are in the Central Europe, and if you look to the shape of Slovenia, which is here in the middle, about it's the capital Ljubljana. Here is the border and Croatia, Hungary. Here is the Croatian border. Here is small part of Slovenian Sea in the Trieste Bay. Here is the Italy border, and of course on the north, on the other side of the Alps, it's Austria. So if you go from the capital to the southeast, you come to the Bela Krajina firstly, and on the very eastern part it's the natural park Kolpa. And in our park, in small village with only few houses, you will find the village named Kot, or Corner would be English. That is the southest point of the state of Slovenia.
Mm-hmm. And where are we now?
We are now in Adlešići, here, on the last quarter of the park, here, on the river. The middle of the park, would be somehow Vinica, which is very close. There is the international border cross. And only 5 kilometers from it, it's also the connection on the highway from Zagreb to Rijeka in Croatia. Very easily also to come from the part of the Croatia.